So today is an exciting day. We've had some exciting things going on in the Batalash household. Specifically in the Samantha division, we have a new family member. This is Arrow. Arrow is a mini Australian Shepherd and the love of my life. The other exciting thing that's going on, of course, is the Batalash palette. I showed you guys this in my last video. So basically, this is a collaboration with Saucebox, which is one of our favorite eyeshadow companies, has been for a very long time. And we started working on this over a year ago, and we had a couple different revisions of the palette, and these are the colors that we landed on. So yeah, I wanted to explain the palette to you guys a little bit and tell you about why we chose the colors we did, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I was hoping to do this video with the girls, but we live in different countries, so it didn't work out. Basically, what we wanted this palette to be was the most epic palette to ever grace the earth. Just kidding. What we wanted it to be was something that was going to be able to be used by a bunch of different skin tones, and something that would include your neutrals with your pops of color, so you could pretty much just take this palette and use only this palette when you're on the go or at home or whatever. So instead of having to buy a bunch of different palettes for your like neutrals, for your pops of color and stuff like that, all in one palette. The top row is all matte and all neutrals, and the bottom row is all shimmery or like pearlescent, and it's your pops of color. So in the first round, when we were kind of developing our pops of color, we had like a neon pink, a neon green, and we loved it. Like, it was super cool. It emanated, you know, Dominique's like super neon looks, Angela's kind of use of color, my subtle pops of color here and there in between my browns. And we loved it. We loved the neon colors, but we were like, man, is someone realistically going to use this, or is this going to be something like when people buy the electric palette because it looks beautiful and it has these super intense bright colors, and then they get it and they're like, I have no idea how to use like a neon pink in my everyday life. The colors that we opted for the pops of color are a little bit more muted, so you're going to be able to kind of use them with your everyday looks without having them be too much. It's going to ease you into using color without being like this like freaking intense, like boom, what up, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little bit more toned down, it's a little bit more muted, so that you can kind of ease into using those pops of color. For our neutrals, we wanted a really good highlight shade, a good transition shade, which is what you use to kind of just above the crease, blending up towards the brow bone to make colors easier to blend out when you're using deeper colors in the crease. A really cool crease shade, and then a deepener, which is our black. A lot of people were kind of like, oh, why do you guys put a black in there? Like, blacks are so boring. I have black in every palette. But black is an essential color, man, okay? And if you're a little bit frightened by this color and you're like, man, I'm never gonna use that, you don't have to use it as just a black, even though it is a freaking gorgeous black. You can use it as kind of a deepener, so just taking it the tiniest little bit on your brush and blending it into your crease or your lash line or wherever you want to deepen a color. So let's say that you're using this purple color and you wanted a little bit of a deeper color, just take a touch of that black and blend it together, and it's going to cause deepening of the shadows, so you're going to be able to make the rest of the palette a little bit more versatile. If you're fair, this highlight color is an awesome highlight color for all over the face. I sometimes use it when I'm a little bit less tanned. I'll use it on my cheekbones and down the center of my nose, just if I want a nice matte highlight to kind of bring out my cheekbones and stuff. So yeah, if you guys picked up this palette, I'm gonna stop pulling this now, my wrist is starting to hurt. But if you guys picked up this palette, let us know what you think about it, positive or negative. We'd love to hear your feedback. And for those of you that are finally receiving your palettes, we hope that you love it. So let's get on with it. Today I'm gonna be doing a super simple plum smoky eye using the palette. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All right guys, well, let's jump into this. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start by applying Winter Brown into the crease. So I'm just taking a big fluffy brush. This is the Sigma E40. And I'm just going to put that into the crease. Next, I'm going to be applying cinnamon right here into the crease as well. So I'm just taking a slightly smaller brush for this. This is the Zoeva 221 brush. And I'm just going to be applying that into the crease and blending it up towards the brow bone. These colors are just acting as our transition shades to make it easier to blend out darker shades later. And they're also adding a little bit of depth and kind of some warmth into this. When you're doing a smoky eye, you want to kind of layer some extra colors in there, so it's not just like one shade right on the lid. It tends to look a little bit kind of boring, and it doesn't have a ton of dimension to it. So adding in those extra shades just for a little bit more of a gradient is going to cause a really, really pretty effect, and it'll look a little less boring. Next, I'm going to go ahead and apply a NYX, there's a hair on there, oh god. I'm going to be using NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Black Bean as my black base, and I'm going to apply that all over the lid. Don't worry if this looks messy when you're applying it, just make sure that you have an even coat all across the lid. Don't worry about these edges right now, because what we're going to do is take this Real Techniques shading brush, and we're just going to quickly blend over those edges and buff them out so that they're not harsh edges. So I'm using a black base to intensify the color of the next shadow I'm going to be using. And I saw last time I used a black base that some of you were asking what the difference between a black base and a white base is, if there is a difference, and there definitely is. A white base is going to make it like brighter, and it's going to cause the color to be more true to the color in the pan. A black base is going to make the color more intense and deep, and it also tends to bring out any dimension that the color may have. So like, let's say the color looks like just purple in the pan, but when you swatch it, it looks like purple and blue and, you know, like all these kind of cool flecks in it, but it doesn't translate that way on the eye straight. If you put a black base underneath, usually it helps to bring out those kind of like dimensions that the shade might have. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and take Nova, which is right here. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and take Nova, this really, really pretty, it's so beautiful. It's like this beautiful, rich plum shade that has a little bit of a sheen to it. So I'm gonna be taking that on a shader brush, and I'm just going to pack that on top of the black. And notice how I'm just pressing this on as opposed to kind of swiping it. When you press on shadows, one, it's going to cause less follow underneath. Two, it's going to kind of keep that pigmentation where you want it as opposed to like just freaking flopping it all over the place. So I'm just applying that all over where we applied that black base. And then, oh god, ow, my brush landed on the pee pad. We're just housebreaking the dog right now, so there's like this little like quilt essentially that's just like a pee pad that they can piss on. And that's my brush just landed in, so I have to grab a new one. But anyways, I'm just taking a little blending brush and I'm just going to quickly run over the edges of that and blend it into the transition shade. If you do have any fallout and it's not anything major, you can just take your concealer brush or your foundation brush and just swipe it away like that. I'm just gonna do the exact same thing on the bottom lid, so I'm taking NYX Black Bean and applying that right underneath the lower lash line. Taking that same Real Techniques shading brush and just blending it out. Oh, Jesus. And then I'm gonna take Nova again, that purple color on a little brush and go over top of that black on the bottom. And then I'm gonna go ahead and mix the first two shades that we used, Winter Brown and Cinnamon, and I'm just going to kind of buff out that lower lash line with those colors. Now just for the lulz, I'm gonna take the Anastasia single eyeshadow in Pink Champagne, which is this gorgeous kind of like foily color, and I'm going to grab it on my talon first, pick up that color, and start to apply it to that inner corner, and just kind of blend it on towards the center of the lid. And then I'm just going to pick up a little shader brush with that color and pack it on where I can't reach with my finger, and just kind of tap to blend it out towards the edge here. This is just gonna add a little bit of dimension and a little bit of kind of sparkle to our little smoky eye today. Okay, just for kind of a fun pop of color, I'm gonna be using the Marc Jacobs Eyeliner in Odyssey. And if you guys haven't tried these liners, they are freaking bomb. Jesus Christ. They last so long, even if your eyes are super watery, and they come in lots of really cool colors, and yeah, I just love them. I actually was blown away by the Marc Jacobs line. I didn't expect much, and I love it. Come here. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Okay, back to business. Okay, and then I'm gonna apply some lashes and mascara, and I'll show you guys the finished look. So this is the final look. I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly finish off my face. I'm not going for foundation today. I just applied a little bit of concealer under my eyes and on any kind of trouble spots that I have. I showed how to do this in my last video. I'm I'm going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury Filmstar highlight and bronzer today. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that highlight and apply it to the tops of my cheekbones. I really like this palette if you're going for more of a kind of like subtle highlight and contour as opposed to like that super intense like what up kind of thing. It just has a nice glow, and this is the kind of perfect tone. I don't know, it's just hard to explain. Like it's golden, but it has a little bit of peach in there too, so it's going to look good on a lot of different skin tones. Just a little bit down the cheek. This isn't my cheek, this is my nose, and I'm just putting a little bit down there. And I'm just gonna put a little bit on my forehead too because why not? You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna go ahead and take my NARS Ita brush and the Sculpt shade from the palette. Oh, I hate, they have like these, they have the names like in there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like imprinted in there, and I hate using it because it ruins it. Again, this is a really nice shade. It's not too red, it's not too orange, but it definitely is a little bit lighter, so it's probably gonna work on like fair to medium-ish skin tones. Definitely not for deep skin. It's too fair for that, I would imagine. And then for my blush, I'm just gonna be using this L'Oreal True Match blush in Barely Blushing. I freaking love this shade. It just is really pretty, and it's really subtle, and I just really like it a lot, so there you go. Just applying that to the apples of my cheeks and blending it into my contour. For my lips, I'm just gonna go ahead and apply Nudestix Whisper. This is one of my all-time favorite lip colors. I keep it in my bag all the time so I can just like quickly wipe it on. It's just like, it's like lip color but better, basically, for me. So that is everything, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something cool today. Let me know what you'd like to see next in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. Okay, bye guys.